It is the first Tuesday of the third month of the year 2025, a day when we continue to break down the revelations coming out of the Auditor General's report. This time, some damning revelations on the Hustler Fund.
Hakuna tena pesa ya umma itafujwa kwa mitandao, hata mujaze makaseti, makaratasi na nini marangapi. Ati ndio mtulazimishe turudi nyuma kule kwa NHIF muendelee na kuiba. Haiwezekani.
There is no turning back. President Ruto claims those opposed to SHA are beneficiaries of NHIF fraud.
Already I have concluded that there was no effectiveness or lawfulness in the use of public resources under those matters.
The damning revelation. Auditor General tells Parliament that the SHA system procurement was illegal.
I now officially launch the Hustler.
Another damning report. Auditor General flags massive loss of billions in Hustler Fund, including loans to unborn and underage children. Two dead, over 20 injured as two communities clash over cattle theft along the Kisii-Narok counties. And tonight on Power Talk, we talk about matters health and particularly dental health. It's typically known as browning of teeth, but it's actually called dental fluorosis. What causes it? What are the symptoms? And beyond just damaging one's self-esteem, what does that mean for one's dental health? And indeed, how this organization, that is the Lake Basin Dental and Orthodontic Center, is using artificial intelligence in the treatment and management of dental fluorosis. That is on Power Talk this week, which is the health edition, right here on The Explainer, which starts right now.
Live from Citizen TV, this is The Explainer with Yvonne Okwara.
Njoki Shege is our sign language interpreter. Tonight, let's begin with President William Ruto, who is defending the Social Health Authority, SHA, and has told off critics of the new health insurance cover, claiming they are a bunch of cartels who've been making fraudulent and false claims to defraud the now-defunct NHIF. Speaking during the burial of the late Malava MP Malulu Injendi, President Ruto said there would be no turning back and urged Kenyans to register with the authority. Stephen Leto reports.
With the SHA program reported to be on its sickbed, President William Ruto made it the main point of focus as he joined residents of Malava constituency in Kakamega County. Burial of the late Member of Parliament Malulu Injendi. President Ruto's new health insurance scheme was punctured by the Auditor General with revelations of massive irregularities, including a consortium of companies managing the fund. The head of state quickly defended the model that is now a subject of public debate and lingering doubt.
Nimefanya consortium kubwa. Tukasema we are going to have a consortium of technology companies that is going to make sure that there are no fraudulent claims in SHA.
A report by the Auditor General laid bare how deductions to SHA and deductions from health facilities alongside track and trace solution have ended up in untraceable accounts on a daily basis. President Ruto telling mourners in Malava that no public money will be used to finance the consortium.
And they are going to make sure that that system will not be paid for by the government of Kenya. It will be a fee-for-service facility that will make sure that we protect citizens' contribution. The people who are complaining are the fellows who have been stealing from us. They don't want a technology system that works because they want to continue stealing from us. I want to tell them the stealing is over, my friends. Move on.
President Ruto pointed out low registration of Kakamega residents with the SHA scheme, say there will be no turning back.
Hakuna tena pesa ya umma itafujwa kwa mitandao, hata mujaze makaseti, makaratasi na nini mara ngapi. Ati ndio mtulazimishe turudi nyuma kule kwa NHIF muendelee na kuiba. Haiwezekani.
According to President Ruto, an audit of the defunct NHIF indicated that 40% of the payments were made to fake hospitals in a wide connected corruption web to defraud the health sector.
Pesa nyingi ambayo ilikuwa inakusanywa na NHIF iliibiwa na matapeli na wakora ambao walikuwa wanajifanya wako na mahospitali. Fake claims, fraudulent claims consumed almost 40% of the money that was being raised by NHIF. Na hiyo haiwezi kufanyika mimi nikiwa rais tena. It will not happen.
The president called on Malava residents to register en masse with the Social Health Authority that he claims paid the bills of the late MP was buried minutes before 5 p.m. Stephen Leto, Citizen TV.
And Auditor General Nancy Gathungu has defended her report that lifted the lid on the 104 billion shillings Social Health Authority Healthcare Information Technology System procurement irregularities, saying her report was factual and above board. Gathungu, who appeared before a Senate committee to shed light on some audit queries, said the system was marred by massive irregularities and unlawfulness. As Emmanuel Toh now reports, members of the Senate County Public Accounts Committee have called for the termination of the contracts with the SHA system service providers.
There was reasons, but the solution for...
The damning report by the Auditor General Nancy Gathungu, which revealed the illegalities and breaches in the procurement of the Social Health Authority Healthcare Information Technology System, continues to cause a storm. The Auditor General Nancy Gathungu, who appeared in Parliament Tuesday, stuck to her guns, maintaining the system was procured illegally amidst criticism from some quarters from government on the veracity of her report.
So already I have concluded that there was no effectiveness or lawfulness in the use of public resources under those matters.
Gathungu raising a red flag on the sticky issues of the system, including the repayment model adopted, which allows the service providers to deduct 2.5% of the member contribution, which translates to 10 billion shillings a month.
Kenyans are happy that someone has finally uncovered or pulled the clock off this thing called special purpose vehicles that are in reality special looting vehicles. And there's something you called track and trace, which I would want you to shed some light, Madam Auditor General, that they are taking another 1.5% on this thing called track and trace.
Internal controls are not being followed. The governance structure has problems. There is no risk management, and hence then we have all these issues happening.
Gathungu throwing the ball to Parliament's court on the next course of action, even as MPs called for the cancellation of the SHA deal.
Can we agree before this committee that we want to terminate that contract, and what are going to be the consequences? Because we can't continue to allow people to enjoy proceeds of crime. Let's just declare this SHA and SHIF a criminal enterprise, and we'll close it today.
Role and responsibility for action on the Auditor General's reports is with Parliament.
Our job would be to pronounce ourselves, as I say, prescription. Our job would be to inject and say that now we must inject the head of procurement. We must inject the accounting officer.
The Auditor General's report highlighted several breaches in the procurement of the system, which is not owned by the government, including uncompetitive procurement, lack of payment arrangement agreement, unfavorable contract clauses, and lack of risk assessment, among others. As the impact of the Auditor General's explosive report continues to reverberate across the country, more questions will linger and are begging for answers, with the National Assembly now taking over the mantle to get to the bottom of the issues in question through its duty of oversight. Emmanuel Toh, Citizen TV, Parliament Buildings, Nairobi.
And staying with the explosive Auditor General's report, some more damning revelations have emerged indicating severe financial leakage at one of President William Ruto's flagship projects, the Hustler Fund. The Auditor General, Dr. Nancy Gathungu, has lifted the lid on the loss of billions of shillings at the fund. Her report showing how non-performing loans amounting to 8 billion shillings could just be written off, for it has not been serviced for the last 1 year. The report shows 64% of the money borrowed was not being repaid. Ayub Abdikadir reports.
I now officially launch the Hustler.
Launched with pomp and fanfare, the Hustlers Fund, which was to allow a majority of Kenyans access to credit, according to the Auditor General Dr. Nancy Gathungu, is riddled with financial improprieties. In our 2023-4 financial year audit report, Dr. Gathungu lays bare the inconsistencies in the fund's financial statement. The Auditor General raises questions on the accuracy and correctness of the financial position of the fund, as contrary to a financial statement presented to the auditing team, showing a cash balance of 3.3 billion Kenya shillings. Further analysis revealing a total of 44.2 million Kenya shillings undeclared funds held at M-Pesa float balance at Safaricom, another principal float balance held at other telcos.
I don't know, you are like a magnet.
The audit report also shows high non-performing loans at the fund, with 64% of borrowers either disappearing with the funds or not repaying for over 1 year. As such, the Auditor General is casting doubt of a recovery of 8.7 billion shillings, which has not been serviced for more than 1 year.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. My name is Vivian Nyambura.
The fund, according to the auditor's report, is also losing billions of shillings through duplicate loans. 880,013 loans, amounting to more than 1.6 billion Kenya shillings, are duplicated, casting doubt on the accuracy of the outstanding loans. A total of 235,628 loans amounting to 210.4 million Kenya shillings was never repaid and were nowhere on the loans book by the end of the financial year 2023-24. A total of 1,186 underage customers aged between 0 and 17 years also accessed the credit facility, increasing the default rate. Close to 700,000 Kenya shillings was paid to this group, according to the report by the Auditor General.
The Auditor General.
Dr. Gathungu also reveals how 3 service providers could not account for interest on loans, amounting to 20 million Kenya shillings. The report also highlights how the fund failed to establish an internal audit function, contrary to the Public Finance Management Act of 2012, which calls for the establishment of appropriate arrangements for internal audit. Dr. Gathungu also states how the fund did not invest in a proper loan management system, questioning 410 million Kenya shillings which was used to match the long-term savings of clients who had borrowed more than 5 times.
I can tell is that they have found you.
A report casting doubt over the sustainability of one of President William Ruto's pet projects, which according to her is replete with a breach of constitutional violations and financial leakages. Ayub Abdikadir, Citizen TV.
All right, I want to focus on health one more time. Now, the Social Health Insurance Fund is under threat, with private healthcare providers warning it could collapse within a year without urgent reforms. Appearing before the National Assembly's Health Committee, stakeholders flagged serious inefficiencies, citing low active contributions as a major risk to the fund's sustainability. Mary Moki reports.
It's a crisis in the making, with only 22% of the 20 million registered Kenyans actively contributing to the Social Health Insurance Fund. Operators of private hospitals are struggling to keep their doors open to patients under the scheme. Speaking before the National Assembly Committee on Health, the chairperson of the Kenya Association of Private Hospitals, Dr. Eric Musau, painted a grim picture of the situation.
So unless SHA works, then those who have the option of not paying or are difficult to make pay will not queue to pay. And if this trend goes on unaddressed, we do not see this fund surviving beyond 12 months.
Private and faith-based hospitals defended their move to suspend credit services to SHA card holders, a move they say is an act of desperation rather than reluctance to serve patients. They say they have not suspended services, just the credit advanced for those services. The healthcare providers took issue with the perennial delays in disbursing funds to their accounts at the primary healthcare level. The lawmakers seemingly accepting liability for the failings of SHA.
As government team, initially we were excited with the numbers of those who are registering, so we missed the communication on registering and payment.
The stakeholders also criticized the SHIF reimbursement model, which they argue is unpredictable and unsustainable. The majority of Kenya's healthcare facilities fall under levels 2 and 3, yet funding disproportionately benefits level 4, 5 and 6 hospitals, which makes up only 9% of the sector, exposing patients to possible financial ruin.
Fast-track the process of ensuring that SHA is operational. We need permanent directors, we need staff, we need people in the branches that fully understand the mission of SHA.
And what we have suffered is a lot of a decline in the utilization of our patients, and therefore creating idle capacity and the threat of sustaining health workers.
SHIF offers bed and breakfast. You get, they pay, you bed.
Amending SHA to address its inefficiencies, noting that mishandling SHA had the potential to cost them their seats.
That is a benefit package deficit. We will go and say, for people admitted, don't just say surgery and this, even medical care cover.
They can't make us rules because of their own iniquities. We need to call the ministry. The ministry needs to give us a clear pathway.
Mary Mwoki, Citizen TV.
2 people have died, with more than 20 others nursing arrow wounds following renewed clashes along the Trans-Mara border. The violence, fueled by rising tensions over cattle rustling, has also seen tens of acres of sugarcane plantations set ablaze. Despite heavy security deployment, fear and uncertainty still grips the region. Laura Otieno reports.
The Kisii Trans-Mara border was on Tuesday afternoon engulfed in flames as more than 20 acres of sugarcane were torched in the 4th day of clashes along the border. Some locals remained armed despite the presence of a contingent of officers manning the area. Elders, however, say the clashes were fueled by rogue elements and not a cattle rustling incident where 2 cows were reportedly stolen and moved across the border.
Hiyo ng'ombe haikuleta shida wakati ng'ombe ilikuja, Wamasai wakaongea viongozi ya pande na pande ile, hiyo haikuleta shida, ila tu walienda tu kidogo wakarudi kule kusosana na wengine.
The resulting chaos left 2 people dead, more than 20 others receiving treatment for arrow wounds across various hospitals. The residents have, however, accused the elders of continuously failing to recover the stolen cows, which they say is the main cause of the conflict.
Ng'ombe kama ilikuwa ni almost 70k, wanatuletea ng'ombe ya 35. So, kitu ambacho tulikuwa tunataka ni amani. Kama ng'ombe ilipelekwa na tunajua imeenda mahali, hiyo ng'ombe wairegesha, sisi hatutaki kubadilishiwa ng'ombe.
Our place is known. An animal is picked and the goes on the other side. Obviously, the outcome has been what? These classes. And these classes, these are the casualties. My brother is here. My brother is here. Another one is in intensive care unit.
The area along the Kisii Trans-Mara border is still facing heightened tension, with schools remaining closed out of fear of an escalation of the clashes. Laura Otieno, Citizen TV.
The Ministry of Health now says the mysterious ailment that has been spreading through parts of South Mugirango in Kisii County was caused by the consumption of water contaminated by fecal matter. Health PS Mary Muthoni says that most of the water sources in the area have been contaminated in this manner. However, residents have disputed these preliminary findings. Brenda Wanga reports.
The disease that has struck part of South Mugirango in Kisii County continues to ravage the residents. Some of them, too sick and too poor to afford hospital care, are self-treating at home with varying degrees of progress.
Ni kichwa inauma sana. Halafu inauma mpaka inafika kwa shingo, nashindwa kugeuza.
Nguvu ndio sina. Kuna wengine ambao wamesema wamehala, wametapika.
Nilikuwa naumwa kichwa, mguu, kila bahali ilikuwa inanigonga.
Today, a team from the Ministry of Health led by the PS for Public Health was in one of the most affected villages. She says initial results of samples taken for testing indicate a hygiene problem.
Published that the source of water has fecal matter, which has contaminated the water. And equally, the samples that were taken from the homes, they equally have fecal matter.
But the residents dispute these findings. They have maintained that the water sources have been kept clean and pure for years with no change in the last few days.
Hata wakaaji wenye wanakaa hapo center wanachukua imaji wanaenda wanapikia chakula. Hatujasikia wakilalamika. Labda watuambie kama ni ugonjwa umeingia hapa yenye hawajajua, afadhali watuambie.
The ministry, however, says the residents must now desist from consuming that water pending the resolution of the crisis.
It is important that the people here practice high levels of hygiene, and high levels of hygiene are very activities that you think are not important, like washing hands, okay? Ensuring that you drink treated water.
The residents will now be waiting for the government to conclude the probe into the disease as they ask it to provide clean water for their use during this period. Brenda Wanga, Citizen TV.
Now, a funeral service for 3 children killed in a road accident in Gishugu, Kirinyaga County, took a dramatic turn when chaos erupted after politicians were barred from addressing the mourners. Tensions flared as a bishop from the Full Gospel Church of Kenya, who was set to preside over the ceremony, walked out after a section of mourners turned hostile, demanding that the local leaders be allowed to speak. Citizen TV's Ben Kirui has more.
Confrontations and shouting matches rocked what was meant to be a solemn occasion, a burial ceremony of 3 pupils who passed away in a road accident in Gishugu, Kirinyaga County. Tensions flared when Kirinyaga woman representative Njeri Maina defied the presiding bishop's directive to steer clear of controversial political topics. In a dramatic moment, Bishop Simon Munene grabbed the microphone from her, triggering an angry reaction from a section of mourners who demanded that the MP be allowed to speak.
Because, let me answer you fair and fair, because this is a burial ceremony, not a political marriage. You'll do that. Bishop kwena sisi okava nario horo washa nandona gwetondo. Listen to me, please. Not contention, please. Thank you. Thank you. You have something to say?
Emotions ran high as the situation spiraled out of control, with irate residents shouting uncontrollably and disrupting the entire ceremony. The unrest escalated to the point where Bishop Munene was forced to flee for his safety as a group of agitated youth turned against him.
We came here to preach the gospel.
Earlier, the bishop had urged politicians to respect the occasion, focus on paying tribute to the departed and stand in solidarity with the bereaved families.
Hapa tuongei SHA inafanya kazi ama ifanyi. Atuongei kama barabara zinajengwa ama zijengwi. Because if we start doing that, hawa watu ambao wamefiwa, ambao wanaomboleza na wanalia, na ndio wamefanya tu hapa.
Sisi kama viongozi lazima tuzungumze. Manake hawa wananchi wanaumia.
The intervention of Kirinyaga Senator Kamau Murango helped restore order, allowing the burial ceremony to proceed after the politicians got their way. The ceremony was in honor of 3 pupils who tragically lost their lives in a road accident along the Kimunye-Gatugura Road a week ago. Ben Kirui, Citizen TV,
Nairobi.
Yeah, so let's take our first break here on The Explainer tonight. When we come back on Power Talk today, we're talking about something I'm sure we have seen and experienced with family members, browning of teeth. Tonight, Power Talk takes the health route. On Power Talk tonight, Dr. Kennedy Carson Opio, the CEO of Lake Basin Dental and Orthodontic Center, breaks down dental fluorosis, its symptoms and its management.
Of course, Blue Band is amazing on toast. Duh. But did you know there's more? Blue Band can do your topping and your frying and stir frying and mixing. Blue Band for stewing, baking sauces, also grilling and toasting. Nice in matoke and ugali and tilapia. That's right. For breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks. Tasty, crispy. Want a bite? Mmm. So yummy every time with omega-3 and omega-6 vitamins all for free. We use it anytime with healthy G. I'll be cooking up a song for my family.
Roto tanks. Roto tanks. Built like a tank.
Great yummy taste, gotta hack it. I spread bread, pate nguvu, gotta pack it. Napaka nyweki design ya mokoro. Blue Band, Juni natural cocoa. 5 vitamins, una grow plus ni tam nani. One by one, tuna flow with the energy. Dance to the beat, feel the adrenaline. Vibes the polite. Step into the motion. Tuna hack snack na ki Blue Band choco for your growth. Juni.
Karibu to Fahari Residences, an exclusive gated community designed to make you love your life. Fahari Residences comprises master-planned serviced quarter-acre plots. Ideal for family living, Fahari is located along Kiganja Road, Ruiru, off exit 13 of the Thika Superhighway, close to social amenities such as schools, malls and hospitals. Purchase your plot at 9 million shillings. You can also talk to us about our financing plan with payments as low as 100,000 shillings per month. For more information, call us on 011 05 99750 or SMS Fahari to 21938 or visit our office at Fahari Residence.
Inakaa fiti aje. Sisi kwa mjengo wetu mbao zimekuliwa na mchwa karibu zote.
Ati mchwa tena? Kwani hamjui siri nyinyi? Siri ni gradometer.
Ati inaitwa aje?
Gradometer.
Gradometer kutoka Kenagro Suppliers Limited ni dawa nambari 1 ya kuangamiza mchwa kwa mbao na chuma katika maeneo ya ujenzi, kwa miti na katika nguzo za uzio. Dawa hii inapatikana katika Agrovet na hardware iliyo karibu nawe popote nchini. Angamiza mchwa kwa kutumia Gradometer, the number 1 termiticide in Kenya, kutoka Kenagro Suppliers Limited.
Life is about building benchmarks to remember. We're not just discussing blueprints and figures. We're talking about making our mark, building our pride, our joy, our future. It's not just metal, it's safety. It's peace of mind that makes this place home. Our steel is not just about strength, it's about resilience. Every time we lay a foundation or raise a roof, we're building a legacy, a footprint, a promise to remember for life. Our mark isn't just in the buildings we build, it's in the lives we impact, the communities we strengthen, and together we'll leave our mark on this world.
welcome to this week's edition of Power Talk. And we're so pleased to be continuing a conversation we have had with my guest who has been on Power Talk before. And today we're going to be talking about that topic. It's called dental fluorosis. Might sound like a big name, but once you see the pictures and you see the great work that he does, then you will understand what we're talking about. So on Power Talk this week, we're hosting Dr. Kennedy Carson Opio, who is the CEO of the Lake Basin Dental and Orthodontics Center, to break down this topic for us, what it is, how it can be treated, but most importantly, how technology and AI is being employed to do just that. Dr. Carson, thank you. It's good to have you with us once again.
Thank you.
All right, let's start by talking about dental fluorosis. What is it?
Dental fluorosis is, I would call it a cosmetic problem on the teeth enamel, yeah? Whereby in most cases we call it mottled enamel. The teeth may present in various forms, like it may present as white when it is mild, like some white specks when it is mild, and if it is moderate, it will be like brown. You've seen people with brown teeth, and when it is severe, in its severe form, it would be like pitted. You can see the teeth are breaking down, brown and breaking down.
Okay.
Being someone who has been affected by fluorosis before,
yes,
I can say it is a condition of the teeth that really make people have very low self-esteem,
yeah,
especially when you're smiling. You don't want people to see your teeth.
Yeah.
It is, I would say, fluorosis is an endemic problem in Nairobi right now.
And what causes it?
Drinking water. There are other causes, but drinking water is the main cause. The fluoride in water, when it is taken in excess for kids who are below 8 years, this is the formative stage of the teeth. The fluoride in toothpaste is very important, but it is in the right measure, such that it is required to form a layer that prevents the cavities from affecting the teeth. Even during formation of the enamel, which is the whiter part of the tooth, in that formation we need the fluoride to still make the enamel strong, to prevent you from getting cavities.
And so there's a recommended amount of fluoride, in drinking water?
WHO recommended figures are between 0.5 milligrams per liter to 1 milligrams per liter.
What do those symptoms present like again?
Yeah, first the child will realize that, or the parent will realize that the teeth are becoming, a normal enamel is glossy white. It is not that white that is chalky white. It is glossy white and glossy smooth white that is translucent. Okay. That is a normal tooth. When you as a parent, you realize the kid is having the teeth that are having some speckles of white, hypomineralized. That means the enamel is becoming porous. Then you start noticing that this is an element of fluorosis. So it presents in various forms. So that is the mild form. Then we have the moderate form, which I talked about, which is now it will be a large surface of that tooth is affected, more than 50%, and mostly present as the brownish color. Now the enamel become mottled. And then in this severe form, in which most parents will bring their kids when now the tooth is worn out, when now the child has started feeling low due to self-esteem issues in school, that is when they will present for the management.
All right, but Doc, it does sound like by the time you get to the advanced stage and the teeth or the tooth that's affected is breaking down. So what are the other negative effects of fluorosis beyond, having an effect on one's self-esteem? Because it sounds like those are teeth that can no longer function properly.
Also, as dentists, we face a lot of problems when you have fluorous teeth. For example, if somebody has fluorosis and they need a filling of that tooth, if the tooth has cavity, because teeth that have fluorosis actually have high chances of having cavities. They have high risk for caries, for cavities. So when this patient presents to you with a cavity and you want to fill this tooth, the bonding is a problem. The filling material becomes a problem. You get to face a problem trying to fill it because you will have to etch this teeth for a longer period of time. Also, kids who have fluorosis and then they have alignment issues, these teeth have subsided, they have bonding problem, the braces won't bond to them.
Okay. Are they able to chew properly, or, you know?
Chewing they will, but as we have agreed, in this severe form, the teeth are now becoming brittle. They are pitted, They will be, the pulp may be exposed, the living part of the tooth may be exposed, and now the child will have sensitivity issues and all that.
Okay, okay. So now that we know what it is, how, you know, the symptoms present, what is the management of dental fluorosis?
Well, the management depends, as I said, whether it is mild, moderate, or severe. But then, first we look at the age. The kind of management regimen we will have in a child is different from the one we will have in an adult. A child, I mean anybody below 17 years. So a child who is below 17 years and just has mild fluorosis, we will do what we call microabrasion, that is one of the methods that can be used, whereby a type of acid that is medical, not just any acid, phosphoric acid in a certain percentage that is allowed, 35%, so 37%, is used to rub, like polish, that surface if it is mild. That surface that is speckled white, so that it can have a uniform color. Also, there's other methods whereby you take a resin. Resin is composite. The material we normally use for filling, it's called icon. You infiltrate, because we have said that such enamel have porosity, so you microfill those areas so that it can have a uniform.
I see.
Okay. And in its severe form, in children, we do what we call masking, because we can't have those definitive treatment, like permanent treatments, because the child is still growing, the tooth is still young, the pulp is still large, and you might end up injuring this tooth. So we avoid the permanent management regimens. Now, in adults, still, depending on whether it is mild, moderate, or severe, still we can do microabrasion. We can do something called macroabrasion, whereby using a bar, using a tool, the area is rubbed out.
Okay.
And it may not be just microabrasion alone. Like, you don't just rub that area, because you might rub the area, then it remains a pit. Now, you may have to fill that area. Okay. You may have to do masking, or you can combine it with things like veneers or crowns. Okay. Now,
I mean, when you say abrasion, is that, and forgive my layman speak, is that the way you use a nail file to,
exactly,
sort of file your nails? So you're filing out the brown.
But in this case, remember, this is a living tissue,
yes. Okay.
So you have to be very careful, such that when you are rubbing it, you have to be very careful. Otherwise, you are going to remove all the enamel of the tooth, and that tooth will be very sensitive.
Okay.
So you have to be trained to be able to do it. Now, in adults, we have other method. For example, if the tooth is moderately fluorosed, you can still do masking. Masking is whereby we take the filling material, which we call composite or resin, and then just etch the tooth, prepare the tooth, etch the tooth, and then you put it so that it can appear white.
I see.
Okay? This is a temporary option, because the problem with masking is, it is a temporary option, because problem with masking is that it can come out, especially if poor composite is used.
Out of all of these management processes that you've talked about, some of them are permanent, where to the extent that, a patient who presents with fluorosis can then, after visiting you, can go on to have
a normal life
with white teeth.
For over 20 years.
And it won't reverse? Or?
As I'd said, I'm a victim of fluorosis, because I lived with the bowl water just next to our house. So I had severe fluorosis. Not just moderate, severe fluorosis. And as you can see, I managed to do what we call a smile makeover with zirconia crowns. And this is what we do, that everybody from Africa is now coming to our center to have this done. Initially, they were going to Turkey to have this done, to India, Turkey, but having brought the technology in Kenya, it is something that we are doing now. And as you can see, I think it completely changed my self-esteem. These procedures, they have their disadvantages. As we said, as much as possible, you would want to minimize the breakdown of the tooth, because once you remove the outer layer of the tooth, which is the enamel, is the protective part of the tooth. When you get to dentine, which is the second layer, you will actually be having sensitivity. So the material that you are going to use has to be biocompatible. And it depends on an individual basis a lot. You might find some people you've just done maybe 0.5 preparation, and they're having so much sensitivity. Yeah. So you've done a smile makeover. That's why we recommend that instead of going abroad to have this treatment done, because this treatment, you might have a smile makeover and the bite is not okay. Yeah. You might have a smile makeover and you are okay. After sometimes you develop sensitivity. So it is better if you do it locally so that you can have that assurance. You can go for reviews.
Constant care.
Yeah, constant care so that you don't have untoward effect of these smile makeover procedures.
Okay.
Yes.
And you at Lake Basin Orthodontic Center are employing artificial intelligence, so AI, in the management of fluorosis. Explain that to us.
Okay, first, I think AI, if there's one area that AI has affected, it is dentistry and, of course, medicine as a whole, yeah? Because in the olden days, you would find that the kind of regimen that were there, the kind of methods that were used to treat fluorosis, they would need so much time, whereby somebody would have to come to the dentist for maybe 2 weeks or more. As you take the measurements, the technology was not available locally. You would send work to Dubai, you would send work to South Africa, to UK, and you would be having temporary crowns or veneers for some time as the doctor still communicates with the lab so that you can have the work brought back. But now we have, there's something called 3D scanning, laser scanning. So it has so much revolutionized dentistry to the extent that when somebody is having what we call questionable fluorosis, you look at the teeth, they look like they're fine and they're not, also they're not fine. So you can take a picture with that scanner and try to compare. Yeah, you can tell the patient to come maybe 3 times, you try to compare whether there is any difference. Number 2, they have employed a technology for detection of the fluorous teeth, whereby you shine a light, like it's called fluorescence light, You shine a light over the teeth, and then it will show, just the same way we detect caries using these scanners. It will show you the speckles, the areas which might be having the fluorous area that might be fluorous. So it is a confirmatory, like a confirmatory test, Also, the scanner, once you've converted the image of the teeth into a 3D image, once the teeth have been prepared, you just need to rescan the teeth. The technician or the CAD/CAM specialist will, this is done with using CAD/CAM technology, which is called computer-aided design and computer-aided milling, So once you design what you've scanned after the preparation, you simply mill it and you can actually deliver that crown within 1 hour.
As we close, Dr. Carson, just when is the best time to come? You've talked to us about the symptoms from mild to severe. Just some final advice on how to manage fluorosis because it's in the water, and when to seek treatment.
I want to probably just advise the parents first. The prevention is better than cure. It's always about prevention, Everybody is sinking boreholes, but I think it should be a government policy that each and every person who is sinking boreholes, especially in schools, because as a parent, you'll be very careful at home. You give the patient, your child water that is not having excess fluoride. But at school, you don't know the kind of, maybe they're cooking at school, they're using borehole water. So there should be a policy to make sure that the water has been
tested,
and if there's high fluoride content, they install machines. There are a number of companies in Kenya that sells these machines, and they're affordable. They are as low as 15,000. So you take it and put it in your tap so that the water that comes for the drinking, with that you will not even need to buy water, because a reverse osmosis, it will remove everything from water.
So prevention better than cure. Thank you for joining us. It's the Waswahili who say mganga hajigangui, but in your case you definitely did, or daktari hu hajitibu. But at least you're living proof that all of this that you're talking about is technology and management that you have applied on yourself. All right, thank you so much. That's Dr. Kennedy Carson Apio. He's the CEO of Lake Basin Dental and Orthodontic Center. We've been speaking about fluorosis, which is maybe known to us as the browning of teeth. but it's much bigger than that. And what are the signs and symptoms? What's the management, and how technology is being used to manage that right here in the country? That's Power Talk this week.
Buroti maguta, keja kwa mtaa mambo fiti. Nafungua bahasha wao nikismile, mambo ni murwa, kop imeshikia keta, biza maplot, nikasip tu. Kaniflota mboka, reti kotop, nikasip tu.
With just a payslip, get a mobile loan of up to 500,000 shillings or an unsecured loan of up to 9 million shillings. Visit a Cooperative Bank branch today. Cooperative Bank, we are you.
Since 2012, Al Khair Foundation has provided Ramadan food packs to more than 530,000 fasting Muslims in need across Kenya.
As you fast, you get to remember those who struggle to find a basic meal to break their fast.
Donate today and make a difference.
Santa Lucia, taste it to believe it.
Please can I have that and that? Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Ukiwin, beshte yako nje local shop win too. Hii ni the Cadbury Big Win-Win. Nunua any two participating Cadbury products. Scan QR code ama WhatsApp hi kunominate beshte yako nje local shop. Stand a chance ya kushinda share yako in cash prizes plus more. You a win for you is a win for all. T's and C's apply.
Sasa?
Wasan.
Ile stick ya zero sugar nini?
Ujui Club Zero? Hebu ni kushow.
Festive seeded bread, zero added sugar, high in fiber and protein.
Mkate zero sugar.
Soma lebo.
Sasa mama Josh, kwa wewe kwa Club Zero? Nikose nitekwe. Aya, nipe mbili, moja ya babu, ingine ya shosho. Shosh. Club Zero, imagine.
Festive Zero and Festive Wholemeal. Zero added sugar and reduced salt.
Napenda. Asante sana mwanangu. Na hii Festive Wholemeal ni yako babu. Imepunguzwa chumvi, soma lebo.
This is very good. Hii mkate ya heritage ina chumvi nyingi, alafu ni ngumu.
Karibuni Club Zero.
Carefully read the food label before consuming your products. The balanced recipe with reduced salt and zero added sugar is good for you and your family.
Karibuni sana. Thank you so much for coming.
Hey, that shirt has seen better days. Mara, it's your faded shirt. Mara, it's your faded roof. Look at our roof. From Mabati Rolling Mills. Still as vibrant after all these years. Unlike your shirt.
Yes, MRM steel roofing tiles are made using advanced color coating technology that makes the color last.
The tiles are even wider, so you use less pieces.
Which saved us money. So you mean Mabati Rolling Mills saves you money?
Yeah!
Steal the show with versatile, oriental and elegantile steel roofing tiles. Backed by a genuine warranty only from Mabati Rolling Mills. Visit a dealership or call us today at 0788 202020.
migrants are planning to cross the border. You have to stop them.
The way I'm seeing it, you cannot handle this matter alone.
What do you suggest I do? Huh?
With the WRC Safari Rally 2025, Revisha and feel the roar!
The trial of controversial pastor Paul Mackenzie and his co-accused resumed at a Mombasa court, with 2 witnesses taking the stand. Among them was 47-year-old Stephen Mwiti, who gave an emotional testimony about losing his 6 children, blaming their disappearance on the radical teachings of the Good News International Church and holding Mackenzie responsible for his suffering. As Francis Mtalaki reports, the defense has filed an application seeking a review of the bail and bond terms for the suspects.
Yani kawa ni shida sababu hata hizo nguo ufua kwenyewe. Hata nikiacha kwa kamba hizi hata ondoa.
When he took the stand before Mombasa Chief Magistrate Alex Idhuku, 47-year-old Stephen Mwiti fought back tears as he recounted how his wife and children vanished on August 20th, 2022.
Hiyo namba mimi ndio nilikuwa natumia, alikuwa sina ID ndio nikatumia kitambulisho cha bibi yangu.
They were never to be seen again until today. To his shock, he came face to face with his wife in the courtroom, not as a long-lost loved one, but as a suspect in the Shakahola massacre.
Mara ya mwisho kuona hawa watoto wako ilikuwa ni lini?
Hiyo siku siwezi sahau. 2022 mwezi wa 8 tarehe 20. Hiyo siku siwezi sahau sababu kutoka hiyo siku sijaiona watoto wangu mpaka leo.
Uliweza kujua bibi yako ako Shakahola namna gani?
Sababu ya kutuma pasi na akasema weka kwa gari ya kwenda Shakahola.
Akakwambia? Alikwambia nini?
Nilikuwa natuma pesa lakini nikakataa. Akasema sasa nikituma pesa sitajua mahali huko. Lakini nikituma pasi ataniambia kwa ile gari ambayo nitaweka.
Testifying against his wife Bahati John, now a suspect, Mwiti told the court this was his first time seeing her.
Yuko wapili kutoka ile laini ya juu.
Since August 2022, but their children were nowhere to be found. Heartbroken and seeking justice, he blamed Pastor Paul Mackenzie for his suffering and urged the government to regulate places of worship to prevent similar tragedies.
Jia ni hai. Tumwanzilishi wa shida zetu ambapo mimi sahi niko na miaka 47 na sina mtoto sababu ya kuhubiri injili ya kupotosha watu. Ile kitu ilifanyika mimi nilikuwa namuonya na nilikuwa namwambia lakini hakutaka kunisikiza. Hata wakati aliokolewa nishangaa kwa nini amerudi. Ana mtoto wangu hata mmoja. Safari ilikuwa ni ya kwenda mbinguni na yeye mwenyewe hakwenda.
Ulidanganya katika hii taarifa?
The defense team led by lawyer Lawrence Sobonyo cast doubt on the witness's testimony, questioning whether he truly knew if his wife was still alive.
Hata bado ulikuwa na shauku. Lakini hapa mbele ya koti unasema ulikuwa ushaambiwa. Ni ipi?
Mambo ya kuambiwa na kuona ni tofauti.
Kwa hivyo wewe bado ulikuwa unashuku.
Saa hii ndio nimeamini.
Saa hii leo hii ndio umeamini yuko hai. All this time. Hata wale watoto bado hauna uhakika sababu hujawahi ona chochote chake kamilifu.
Ni kweli.
Meanwhile, the defense team has filed an application seeking a review of bond and bail terms for the Shakahola massacre suspects. Mombasa Chief Magistrate Alex Idhuku is expected to rule on the matter later this week. Francis Mtalaki, Citizen TV, Mombasa.
Over 60 Kenyans rescued from scam compounds in Myanmar remain stranded at KK Park near the Thailand-Myanmar border. These young job seekers, lured by false promises of greener pastures in Southeast Asia, now wait anxiously for the Kenyan government to repatriate them. Citizen TV spoke to some of them as they await their journey back home.
These are Kenyan victims of job scams stranded in Myanmar near Thailand border, desperately awaiting repatriation. Over 60 Kenyans alongside others from different countries fell prey to rogue recruitment agencies, lured by false promises of lucrative jobs only to find themselves trapped in a web of exploitation.
Nilikuja huku Thailand, niliambiwa nakuja kazi ya teaching, but upon arriving nilipata kumbe ilikuwa kazi ya scam.
With nothing else, they have turned blue window curtains into bed sheets. The conditions remain harsh, but their hope endures.
We have been rescued for 3 weeks now. Tumekuwa huku tunateseka, hatujui vile tunaweza rudi nyumbani.
Kenyan ambassador to Thailand Lindsay Kiptines told Citizen TV that negotiations are underway with the Thai government to reopen the border with Myanmar, saying Kenyans are being held by rebel groups fighting against the Myanmar government.
There are over 100 Kenyans on the border. Initially, we had 64. Yesterday, we received a list of 80 people in one of the camps run by one of the armed groups. As I told you, this is hostile territory. There are over 30 armed groups fighting the Myanmar government. Where these Kenyans are controlled by the rebel groups. The government of Myanmar is not in control of this region.
Ambassador Kiptines says talks with Thai government to reopen the border are progressing well, assuring that Kenya is working tirelessly to rescue its stranded citizens from their distressing conditions.
Tumeteseka enough, kwenye tunalala tunakula 1 meal per day, hatuna sanitary towels, hatuna anything, tunashare choo moja, si wanawake wengi.
Since 18th, for the last 2 weeks.
Yes.
Until today, they called us for a meeting. Now they have told us we can only admit your people if the rebel groups hand these people over to the government of Myanmar and they give them the list and then they give it to us. Then we go to the border to receive them.
Emily Chebet, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
Maxwell Marende Juma, a 35-year-old iron worker from Kitengela, is the latest winner of Shabiki.com's Aviator Players of Love, taking home $500,000 shillings, a helicopter ride and a luxury meal at Nairobi's Tribe Hotel. Juma, who works in Babadogo, secured his win by placing the highest bet of the week in the Aviator game. His celebration kicked off with a motorcade escorted by bikers to his helicopter pickup point. After an exhilarating flight, he landed at the Tribe Hotel, where he received his check and enjoyed a special meal. In addition to his winnings, his victory brought a gift to his community: 100 tree seedlings to support local environmental efforts. Shabiki.com continues to reward players with life-changing prizes through the Aviator game.
Shabiki nimekuwa nikiona kwa mtandao, but ilikuwa mara yangu ya kwanza. Kitu ikaniambia hebu nijaribu pia mimi pia. But nilikuwa nacheza na 50-50. Odd ikakimbia hadi 400. So wakati ilifika 400 nikakash out ya kwanza. Kuangalia leaderboard niko na mimi number 3. So kitu ikaniambia niendelee tena. Jirani alikuwa anabisha mlango. Kurudi napata odd imekimbia imefika mpaka 1000. So hapo ndio nilikashia out. So wakati nilikash out mimi nikachukua hela zangu nika withdraw zingine. Okay, mimi nafanyanga welding na nitaweza kuangalia saizi kama naweza nunua hata pikipiki yenye naweza weka naye hii mashini yangu juu, ambapo nikipata kazi ya mbali naweza weka mashini yangu na niende naye na nirudi nao salama bila kutumia gharama mingi. Ya pili pia pale nyumbani pia si tuko mzuri, hatuko mzuri. So naweza kusaidia nao mzazi pale. Mama watoto pia lazima nimuone hapo kando akifungua biashara yake hapo ya mboga na ama chochote chenye atataka kufanya, but nilikuwa nasikia na dai anataka salon so naweza mpelekea course.
All right, let's take another break here on the program. When we come back, we have the day's business news and sports news as well.